I look at project management as there's two sides to the coin. There's the process side, which is what everybody thinks about when they think about projects. It's task A takes 5 days, followed by B takes 5 days, followed by C takes 10 days, total duration 20 days. That's process. The side that I think doesn't get paid enough attention to and will probably derail you faster than anything else is the other side of the coin, which is people. Because Joanne does A and Bill does B and Joe does C, and each one of them is motivated in a different way. And you have to work with them in a different way. You have to speak to them in a different way. You have to talk to them in a different way. I've got people that I work with in the past that they work better when you yell at them. That's not me. If you yell at me, because I'm working my hardest, if you yell at me, I'm going to shut down. You're not going to get anything out of me. So you have to understand how to motivate and how to talk to the people that are working with you. So don't forget the people side of managing projects. And I think tied into that is the lost art of conversation. In today's, even pre-pandemic, we see this again, not necessarily on a job site, but you certainly would see it in buildings, and inside of an organization where rather than walk down the hallway and have a conversation, they would just send an email or, send a text message. The COVID obviously exacerbated that because people began to work remotely. So you saw a lot more of this one-way communication, which is text message, Jira, Slack, emails, things like that. And what I always advocate for is the beauty of a conversation is it's an exchange of information. There's a quote by George Bernard Shaw that says, the single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that is taking place because you think you were clear, right? And so the telephone game or the business world, what stops the message from getting mangled is if each person can ask clarifying questions back to the previous person. So when you say, Clint, turn left, I'm like, okay, left like at this driveway or left at the next traffic light? Which left do you mean? Because there's 3 or 4 places I could turn left. So I think that's also important is to me when I talk to people is have those conversations. And then the third thing I'll say is as individuals on teams, we get a lot of what to do. We're told what to do, right? What's helpful is if I know why we're doing it. If you tell me turn left, I'll turn left. If I can ask the question, okay, why do I want to turn left here? And you say, well, Clint, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get to the airport in Atlanta. It's 3:00, and I think this is going to be the best way to get there. And I can say, oh, if that's what we're trying to do, then this left is not the right thing. I've been living here for 31 years. If we go 2 more blocks down and make a right, that loops back around, we'll miss all the traffic. So if you just tell me what to do, I'll do it. But if you tell me why we're doing it, I might have better information, be able to give you some good feedback. I read an article once about, I can't remember who the company, I want to say it was GE. It just did an acquisition. And they were doing a meeting in the room with this new acquired company. And this guy in the shop floor worker raises his hand and he says, you pay for our hands. You get our hearts and our minds for free. But you got to help. You got to let us help you. You got to tell us what you don't know, and we'll help fill in the gaps. We know we do this job every day. We know what works and what doesn't work. We can help you improve your processes if you let us. So that's the other thing I would tell people is you make sure you let people help you. So it's a long-winded answer, but I think those are the things I like to really, the must-haves I got to communicate when I'm teaching or when I'm working with a team.